What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York, calling from the Alto again, and this time we got round two with one of my personal favorite bands, Harakiri from the Sky. It is so great to be able to talk with you. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, it's so great to be able to have you here. The last time I did a Harakiri interview was actually to promote Mare, so we've actually had one or two, technically two albums come out since then. This new album, Scorched Earth, was this meant to just be sort of like a follow up or continuation to your double album from 2022, or was this meant to kind of be new uncharted territory and a new beginning for Harakiri for the Sky?
No, it's two separate albums. I mean, Mary is already 4 years ago now. No, so it's to say it simple. It's just a new chapter, and yeah.
Was there sort of like a preconceived vision of what you wanted this album to be like, or was this just scratching this, or was this a very improvisational and more experimental songwriting process?
Generally, our songwriting process is always the same. I'd say this is never change a running system concept. Matthias is writing the songs, and when he thinks he has enough parts and riffs and whatever, we meet up and talk about it, and then we just think about should this part be longer, that there is more space for vocals and all that. Yeah, and I for myself, I write lyrics like all the time. I make notes. I always got a small book with me where I write notes down, and I collect them, and then when the time has come today, I sort them out. Maybe for issues, this issue for each lyrics and stuff, and yeah, then I try to, how should I say, write them down or form them in the rhythm of the song, and yeah, so we work it out till the studio, and then we don't do changes anymore. It should have been finished with the pre-production, and yeah.
Well, because the lyrics of Harakiri, I've always thought were super extraordinary. When you look at sort of like the deterioration to like "Sing for the Damage We've Done" or "I Pallbearer" or "Silver Needle, Silver Thorn," like the way that you're able to sort of guide us through the music. Are the lyrics always coming from within? Are they always coming from an internal part of who you are, or are your lyrics coming from like external sources of inspiration? Are you sort of looking outward as a means of lyrical inspiration?
I try. Uh, I mean, Harakiri lyrics are always like, I don't know, 95% autobiographic. I try to tell a story I went through, um, and pack it into more poetic sentences, not just a straight story, but make metaphors out of it, and so the story can be understood, more subtle by each person. So I mean, it doesn't mean that the lyrics, the issue, the lyrics, um, show for me and mean to me, that it means the same for another person that just reads it, because it's always a little bit of the self imagination. But I always tried. I'm not sure if I really tried it, but it happened like this, that I wrote lyrics, that other people also feel, even if it's not exactly their story, but it's something similar or something they went through, and yeah, I mean, that's what I try to do, to make a poem out of a story, but just as much that the story can still be seen as a story. So from the beginning to the end, so something like this.
Being that it's you mentioned you use a lot of metaphors, but it's also very autobiographical. And I've always thought that it has very unique. It's been expressed. I think a good example would be Mastodon, and how like they used historical references to represent like personal tragedies and all that. But this is a question I ask because sometimes when we use the darkness inside of us as like a means of inspiration, sometimes we can become victims of our own product, as I say.
Yeah.
Like, do you find, has the songwriting process been just as deteriorating as it can be cathartic in a way? Because to this day, like even the piano outro to I Pallbearer, for example, when you played that in Brooklyn a couple of years ago, it brought me and many of us to tears because that chilling emotion, and we just experienced the music. So I only can imagine how much it is for you writing it.
Yeah, I mean you already said the right word, and cathartic, or the word catharsis became one of my favorite words, I think, to describe all this in the last years. And I mean you are totally right. You try to channel all these bad feelings and the bad things you went through, and to try to channel it into art, into music, or into lyrics. And for that one, catharsis is the right word, because you are going through something, and you are feeling better when everything is out. And the thing in Harakiri is always, to me, the songs, for sure that we have most of our parts are really melancholic, or even pretty sad. But I think it's like a wave going up and down. Sometimes I feel like at least one of our new tracks, "Keep Me Longing," where we also did a video with strong contrasts. How two characters, the protagonists, handle feelings like loss or deprivation and whatever. I also feel the song. It's like a steady wave of different feelings, like nearly like a manic depression, I'd say. And the example with the piano you mentioned is just one example more that this is true, that Harakiri, the songs are built like this. Steady up and downs.
Because I always ask this, especially in the realm of the music we listen to, as somebody who, I love black metal and death metal and a lot of the very melancholy stuff. But, we're all humans in the end. I think, yes, we're all metalheads, but before we are that, we're humans in the end. And I feel like there is a desire for all of us to seek happiness one way or another. So do you find that maybe like, this is going to be a very kind of a silly question, but I do have like do you find it that if you do become happy or you do experience positivity, that you're almost contradicting what your job is in this music? Do you almost feel like, wait a minute, I'm not going to be able to write this music. I need to purposely be miserable? Because there are musicians I've interviewed, and if you're watching this, you could go back and find the interviews and see which ones I'm talking about, where they're really trying hard to be miserable. And it's just, it seems kind of like, dude, like we're doing an interview. You're not in the studio,
Yeah. I mean, it's not completely wrong, because if you are really feeling too good and really too happy, or how you will call it, it's not. I mean, feeling miserable, or feeling melancholic, or I don't know. You get nostalgic because you are not a juvenile or a young grown up anymore, and you are growing older and all that. Just for example, if you're missing these parts, for sure. getting creative is way more difficult as when you got a life crisis or something. I mean, both extremes are shit. If you are too depressed and completely done with everything, it's the same bad for creativity as it is when you're running on da 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 yeah. If you stop thinking or worrying about something, for sure it's not too good for inspiration and creativity. But running around all day and being depressed or miserable is also not too good for something creative. It's, I mean, if you have you should it would be good to find the middle spot.
Yeah.
But generally being miserable is more productive for that stuff than being too happy, to call it like this.
Because I've seen like young metalheads who, you know, they love the misery and they love the darkness, and then they like go meet their favorite like Swedish black metal band, and they're like the friendliest people at the meet and greet, and then it's almost like they find out like Santa Claus isn't real, and they just like want to cry because it's like, you're supposed to be miserable. What is this happiness shit that you do?
Yeah, I mean, just that you are. I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing in our band too. Just that we try to be as friendly and I don't know the English word. Let's say friendly, and try to associate with strangers or fans. Doesn't mean that you are the luckiest person on the planet, and people should know that sometimes it's like you put a mask on, it's like a farce. And I mean, I think it's way better. I'm not sure if I know like a good example, but maybe Marduk or something, where they are just I wouldn't say that they are unfriendly, but they are grumpy old guys. And I mean, it's the compromise that you are happy and friendly with fans and not miserable and sitting around. Why do I have to even talk with strangers now and something like that? I mean, that's the way, a better way. But I know what you mean. I always also often had this same feeling. I mean, at least when you meet such bands, or generally black metal bands backstage, and I don't know, they're having fun setting a fart on fire or whatever. You also think, oh, okay, these guys with the gallows in the hand on the band picture or whatever. But yeah, that's what it is. Life doesn't just is black or white. So yeah.
And when you because at the same time, like, being that, you know, your first album came out in 2012, you know, the world has changed so much since then, and we as people always change at the same time. So I always ask, like, oh, you started the band in 2012 and now you're putting out this album in 2025.
Yeah.
Like, is this the vision that you've always had for Harakiri? But you, like, could you really were you able to see Harakiri taking this turn that you did back when you were putting out your debut self-titled album?
I mean, back then we didn't think about anything at all. It was like just we had the need to find something new, because we all played, at least me and Matthias, or the other ones too, but let's stick with me and Matthias. We have had bands before and all that, and somehow it got boring. And then I found out a few years earlier than our debut came out about post rock, and after years of being a totally underground whatever fanatic for black metal, listening to bands that just 100 other people on this earth know and all that, I found out about post rock, and to me then this was my second musical religion from one day to the other, and then bands like Mesoros, Alcest, or Landloss, just for example, began to mix up these two styles, and I was like, "Fuck! I want to do the same." I listened to one of my favorite post rock band, which is called "If These Trees Could Talk." I think from
Love them.
Ohio.
I love them. I did an interview with them last year. Great band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why are they? Why is there still no new album? They put out one single last year, and I was like, yeah. The next a new single means a new album. No, nothing.
I asked them. I interviewed them. The one of the guys is I interviewed their drummer, I believe, and he's a bus driver, and I was interviewing him while he was working on the.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, when the fuck is this new album coming? I was like, man, we all got a bunch of jobs we got to do, but like, and hey, I mean,
Yeah, but
I
think the last one is like 8 years ago or
Yeah.
something.
yeah.
I think so. Yeah, and I mean, to me, I was listening to if these trees could talk, to above the earth, below the sky, the green one, and I was like, fuck, I want to do musically exactly something like this with screams, as vocals over it, and yeah, and Matthias was also quite into this stuff, and so yeah, which we said, let's try it, and this is how we became a post black metal band, and for sure it evolved with the years, and as you could hear on the new album and also on Mary, there are a lot of influences from other rock genres like indie rock or grunge. Maybe they were always there, but I think it's more obvious these days that we are also influenced by these kind of genres.
Well,
Yeah.
you led me perfectly into the last two questions I have for you. One of them is
Oh,
back
yeah.
to your songwriting, and that is because instrumentally the music is extraordinary. Again, the pianos that have been incorporated in there, the riffs that I hear, the different guitar tones and melodies, the rhythm, it's all a fantastic musical concoction. And then the lyrics that are incorporated in it, you really have like, I think it goes to show, because people say that when you're in an angry or depressed headspace, you don't think rationally, but your lyrics, I think, contradict that theory, because you have the most thought-provoking aspects of melancholia that I have seen. And what I want to know is, so being that you and Matthias are both very, very talented, do you and Matthias need to be in the same emotional headspace when writing together? Or is it better if you kind of are in your own separate worlds when you're writing your lyrics and he's writing the music, and then combining them together? You're better off alone in isolation versus kind of
Yeah.
living in the same spot.
We always write our stuff separated. He makes the music, I make the lyrics, and there is just a very small amount of percentage. The other one adds to the other one's work, and for sure we work it out together at the very end before we enter the studio. But there is like 99% of let's say 95% of the lyrics and the song, the instrumentals stay as they were before the other one heard or read it. So we are in totally different mindsets, and everyone. That's the good thing about this. Everyone has the freedom he needs to express himself, and also the freedom to do it when he is in the mood of and doesn't have to. I mean, I also played in bands where we met up at the rehearsal room, and then we jammed and worked out everything together. But it's difficult, at least when you are maybe more persons than 2 or 3, to find a compromise you can work with, and so this is a good thing that it's just us two, and I'm just my part is doing the vocals and the lyrics, and he does the music, and everybody can express himself and yeah, has his own catharsis, to go back to this one.
Well, has there ever been a time though where maybe the music didn't hit you in a specific spot, and you've said, "Listen, I can't write lyrics to this. The music isn't like in par with how I'm feeling."
Not really. I mean, there may have been, let's say, 3 or 4 parts or riffs over the last 6 albums where I was like, that's not really my cup of tea. But mostly, they always revolved in my mind, and at the end, I liked or loved them. So it was never like this. Okay, fuck, we have to change this. Because I can't handle it because I really don't like it, and it was never like that. We sometimes had discussions about lead guitars. Matthias sometimes really wants to go to the top, or I don't know how the English metaphor for this is, and wants to play lead guitars that are more or less solo. Because there are so many notes in it, and this is the only thing where we sometimes have the discussion. Okay, from my side, can't we make it a little bit more similar? And that's the good thing when you work together since such a long time. You know what's important to the other one, and where you can make a compromise. And when he tells me 5 times how much he loves this lead guitar, and I am just 50% cool with it, then I say, fuck it, let's take it as you wish. When it's important to you, I will handle it, and that's fine. And the other way around is the same with my lyrics. There are also parts where he doesn't really know what I mean or whatever, but if it's important to me, then we find a compromise, and it's good.
That's the best. Sounds like a great collaboration right there, and I think that's awesome.
No, it's really easy to work together. We grew with each other. It's nothing. We don't have to discuss anything usually, so it's really fine to work
awesome.
together.
And the final question I wanted to ask you is, you mentioned my favorite word that I like to ask a lot of bands, and that's that word post. You call yourself a post-black metal band, and if you look up your band on Wikipedia, they call you a post-black metal band. But
yes.
I've heard that word. I've heard post-grunge. I've heard post-metalcore. I've heard post-hardcore. I've heard post-black metal. I've heard I've heard post all the time. What does that mean exactly? Because I'm noticing, for instance, I could think of other post-black metal bands that do have similarities to you. Off the top of my head, I could think of Mull out of Denmark, that great black metal band.
Yeah.
But like a lot of like the sort of like shoegazy aspect to it, like Superheaven is considered to be a post-grunge band, and they have that sort of like shoegazy aspect behind it. So is it the gaze aspect that makes it post? What makes something post?
To me, when it comes to post-black metal, not sure about the other genres you mentioned, but it's funny because really, when you said post-grunge, the first thing I said, all these bands are shoegaze nowadays, make shoegaze nowadays, or so many post-hardcore bands like, I don't know, Hundredth or whatever, are doing shoegaze nowadays, but. For when it comes to post-black metal, to me it had always two reasons why it's called like that. The first reason is obviously because it's black metal mixed with post-rock, but the second one, which you maybe want to know from me, is that it's the next step from original black metal. So it's the next step in the evolution of this. And that's why, to me, it's also called post-black metal, because it's not the original one, but yeah, as I said, the next step.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it too, because you bring up a good point. Because like they never call Alice in Chains or Nirvana or Soundgarden post-grunge; they just call it grunge.
No.
But a lot of bands that are similar, like that sound grungy, they do call it post grunge. They're not calling Mayhem or Emperor post black metal, but they are calling you guys or Mull or Imperium Decadence out of Germany, like more post black metal. So that's a good way of representing it. It's like almost like post the original era of the genre.
But I think the gap is sometimes really small because I mean, also the last years, there a lot of I don't know. I would call it atmospheric black metal. Bands came out, which also is titled post black metal sometimes. So it's a subtle, very subtle mindset. What it is to you, because it can be that or can be that. But the good thing is, people are not thinking in genres or in these small pieces anymore. If you like something, you like it, and it's okay to play on a festival where they have that, and it's not so small-minded anymore. And if you have a black metal festival, there is just black metal bands and black metal fans. So everything at the end.
Yeah.
Comes back together, and if it's atmospheric black metal or if it's post black metal, in the end, it doesn't matter, and everybody has his own vision of this.
Yeah, because like my favorite band in black metal is Life Lover, and they like
mine too.
you're a hold on a second. I want to show you this, just because if you're a Life Lover fan, I went to Sweden and the first thing I did was pick up that. So
yeah. I don't know if we got time for that, did I find it, but I got this I have all these vinyls, but I also have a special one. I think I have some red splattered first press from Sukdom. I really like them all. There is not one album or whatever I don't like. I think my favorite is the Decadence EP.
Oh, that's a great EP.
But I really like all of them. It's a little bit of a pity that on Sukdom, on their last album, they threw their drummer out, and it was again a drum computer, because I was really looking forward after Decadence that the next album is played with a real drummer, but everything else, to me, it was a religion. It was some kind of religion. When I found out about Life Flower, I was a total maniac.
Yeah.
Austere and Life Flower was like a religion to me when they
Did you see their first album? Kim Carlson in 1853 are starting a new project now.
Sorry?
The two of the members of Life Lover, Kim and
Ritual Mord or something.
Ritual Mord, yeah.
Yeah, so, if I heard of it. I didn't hear a song, but I heard of it that they are working together
I got it.
again.
I got the album. I'm supposed to interview Kim soon, and it is a fantastic album. It is.
Really?
Yeah. It's not Life Lover. It's not. It doesn't sound like Life Lover. It's more along the lines of the instrumental project he has, like Consider Suicide. But it is really good. It is.
Yeah.
It is the most beautiful Depression has never sounded so beautiful.
Okay, I'm curious.
But this is the cream of the crop. These are my two favorite black metal albums right here. But
yeah, as I said, I really like all of them, and it changes sometimes. My Concours is my favorite. At the very beginning, Pulver was my favorite. So about everything about Life Flower was great.
Oh well, I'm so glad I never get a chance to talk to this and talk about this. So it's so great to be able to talk to somebody who understands Life Lover, and I see the Life Lover inspiration too, and all that. But they were never called post black metal. They were always just called suicidal black metal. So, and they started in 06. So
I had a talk on the weekend to one of my oldest friends that also grew up with me listening to black metal, and then we were like, when you go back to the roots, one of the first post black metal albums, even it sounded a little bit different than nowadays post black metal, was the first Ulva album, Bergtat. Yep. They also had a lot of these influences we can hear today. I mean, some people also mention Agerloch. It was also never called post black metal, but this before post black metal bands mixed post rock with black metal. These were also Life Flower. These were the bands that sounded the nearest to what we call post black metal today.
And even like when you look at Dissection, or even like look at Emperor. I mean, when they put out 9 Equilibrium, there was a lot of different aspects on that.
Yeah, they were always like one step ahead.
Yeah, but Agalok is another band. That is a bucket list. Agalok, please come on the show one day, please. That's one of the few bucket lists I got to check off. But we're going on a tangent here.
I saw them. I think when was this? 2011 or 2012 or something.
Wow.
But I think they split up like half a year later or something.
Yeah.
We toured with how were they called? Something with P. The next band from Haugen.
Why? Oh man, it's gonna. I know I'm gonna remember it as soon as we like log off the interview, but.
Pilorian. No.
Yes. Wait, no.
Pilorian?
Yes,
No.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pull up Metal Archives just to make sure, but.
I mean, we had a small European tour with them, but it was not the same as Egalos.
Well, to have Pale Folklore, Ashes Against the Grain, and The Mantle all in the same catalog.
Yeah, I'm a huge Ashes fan.
Falling Snow, I know it on the piano. So,
awesome.
But before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time, and most of all,
yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. It was a great interview, man.
Of course, anytime.
Good to talk about Life Lava.
Right? I never get the opportunity to.
Always use this chance.
But most of all, I want to thank you just for your music that really resonates, especially.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, like I really started to get into you guys really when like we were in the darkness of the pandemic, like when we did our first interview, and you guys definitely served as a soundtrack to a lot of the despair that both myself and many of my friends were feeling at the time, and we're very excited.
It was a fucked up time.
We're very excited also to have you at the Gramercy Theater. I'm literally 4 blocks away from that venue now.
Oh yeah, okay. So we see us in like 2 weeks.
Yep. Is there just anything else that you would like to promote with the release of Scorched Earth? And if you're allowed to talk about it this very moment, what could we be expecting after your tour with Swallow the Sun?
Yeah, we play a completely different set than for sure, because we have a new album out. We play a completely different set as we played the last time when we have been to New York. And generally, I really liked the idea that we are playing a second US tour with Ghostbath, because it was just a great time with them, hanging out with John, Josh, and the Dennis and the other ones, the other guys. It was fun every night, and this time it will be for sure too. And I don't know the Swallow the Sun guys personally yet, but I just heard good things about them. I think they're really heavy party boys, as I heard.
Yeah.
So yeah, but generally also, I think all these bands really fit good together. They are not too similar, but also not too far apart musically from each other. That fans from this band wouldn't like the music of the other one, and when it comes to Harakiri, we play a lot of the new songs, but also a few old ones that we didn't play for years. So that's what people can expect. I hope I didn't promise too much, but it will be cool.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Harakiri for the Sky, Scorched Earth. Be sure to check that out and catch them on tour with Swallow the Sun and Ghostbath. And we will see you next time on Heavy New York.
Thanks for the interview, man.